Well, this is the RealWorks Gala, and it's to raise money for RealWorks, which is an amazing program which helps kids, at-risk youth in New York, and especially the boroughs. It teaches them how to tell stories, and mostly how to tell their stories. The thing I'm most looking forward to about this event is raising money to teach more people how to tell their stories, because there are a lot of stories that aren't being told right now. And I couldn't think of anything better or more important and more timely.
Just found out about the program with this event actually, and really honored to be thought of and for this award, and I was super excited to hear about what the program does and about how it works with kids that are in neighborhoods similar to the neighborhood that I grew up in. Big kids coming up in a big city with a lot of different things going on, and they get an opportunity to learn about this way to express themselves through filmmaking. So I was really excited about it, and it's really what I'm all about as a person. Oh, I mean, my biggest advice is to always make stuff about things that are close to your heart and that affects you personally. I mean, a lot of times when filmmakers are first starting out, they often get caught up in what's going to please everybody else. You know what I mean? What does everybody else want to see, as opposed to looking inward. So I'll just encourage young filmmakers to always look inward. You know what I mean? That's the best place to start, with the idea, with the story, with the project. Always. For us, it was a film that we really struggled to get made with limited means. We had a lot of really talented people, but we didn't have a whole lot of money. We didn't have a whole lot of time. It was something that we just really wanted to get finished and put our best effort into it. Never in a million years did I expect that people would be so kind, in their comments about the film, and that they would get a theatrical release. All of that stuff is surprising. I'm still surprised, about it. I kind of feel like somebody's gonna pinch me, and I'll wake up,
Well, being the Youth Poet Laureate was a very enriching experience, and it was something I was working on for a while, because I was the third Youth Poet Laureate. There were two before me, so I was competing in the competition to become it the previous years before I won, and I do owe it a lot to programs like RealWorks and their associate program, in which that title is given under Urban Word NYC, because they gave me a very solid foundation creatively, and not just creatively, but also for community involvement and activism. So if it wasn't for RealWorks, I would not have pursued to become laureate, in the way that I did, or would I have been so confident in pursuing it. Mm-hmm. So, or even holding the position, because everything I learned from here were things that I used as the laureate, whether it was going to conducting voter drives and things like that. The way we have to pitch our films to a producer or what have you would be the same way I would have to communicate to somebody who, to get them to register to vote and things of that nature. So everything came full circle. Believe in your idea, and other people will believe in it too, but you have to believe in your ideas first, and the hard work does not stop, even when you're sleeping or even when you're resting. Things bubble up in your head. When it bubbles up, get to it. Write it down. At least write it down, whatever the idea is, or if it's a line, if it's a story idea, just get those things out of your head.
I mean, it's pretty great. It's really rare when you get to be a part of a movie that actually says something that has substance, and it's a real true life story. So the fact that we're affecting people with a true life story means that these stories need to be told.
Mm-hmm. And what can you say about Ryan as a writer and a filmmaker?
I mean, anybody who meets him, you get it. It's not that surprising. You champion him. You want him to succeed. He's just a really great guy who has a really unique voice, and I'm excited for what he's going to do next.
I wish I was more involved. I have been at the space and participated in one of their films, and I think it's a great organization. A bunch of the kids are interns for me, and I think what John Williams and what everyone's doing is great, and I hope that I get more involved, but I'm excited to give an award to the Catfish guys tonight. I'm about to direct John Leguizamo's Ghetto Clown for HBO, which we did on Broadway, and I'm shooting that now, and I just finished a documentary on Dr. Sylvia Earle, an oceanographer who's 78 years old, that we just finished. So doing that. And acted in a film about FIFA, the soccer Federation of Football International Association, with Gérard Depardieu in Paris.
Well, I've been coming to this event for the last 3 years. The first year I came just as a friend of an editor, a friend of mine who told me about the organization and asked that I just come. And so I came as a total spectator. I'd never heard anything about Real Works before. And I was just totally entranced and drawn in by the evening. And I watched some clips of the movies that these kids had made and heard John Williams and Stephanie talk about the organization, and I became totally I fell in love with it and was crying, and I went up to John at the end because I knew that I heard someone say that they work out of Brooklyn, and I said to him, listen, I live in Brooklyn, and if ever you need help with anything, I'd love to give my services, Mm-hmm. And so he got in touch with me, and I went and I did some mentoring and looked at some movies and just spoke to the kids a couple of times, and then I came back the following year as a sort of honoree. I got honored by Real Works, and now I'm here as somebody honoring Ryan Coogler, who directed Fruitvale Station. This is the third year I've been, so I've had a big, long only 3 years, but it's been a very important 3 years for me and for the organization. And me and Stacia Peters, who's my friend and business partner, have formed an alliance between our company and Real Works and HBO, who's been very supportive of Real Works too.